Hello and welcome to the Epic Marketing Show. Today we're going to be looking at something rather cool. Although I tend to say that a lot, I do think all of this stuff is pretty damn cool. So today we're going to be looking at how to flowchart out a campaign. So I'm going to be taking a strategy used by the likes of Frank Kern and so on and so forth. It is an engagement campaign. So the idea is that people are already on your list and you want to do something with them, mostly sell to them, how you go about doing that. And I'm going to show you how I would map that out and turn that into a flowchart and then adapt it and tweak it on the go. So I'm going to show you exactly how I would do that today, just you and I. Make sure that you've got something to fortify yourself. I've got a rather delicious Manuka honey, chamomile and vanilla tea, which is really rather good. So grab yourself something delicious and let's get started. Okay, so first, let's kind of rough out the idea. So the purpose of the campaign that we're going to be working together to create is effectively, as such, it is to take existing people on your list, so your existing database, and to convert those into a sale without annoying them. So the purpose is to get sale and engage. Okay, you want to engage your audience. You don't want to piss them off, you just want to engage them. So you want to get that sale and then you want to engage them. So no annoyance. That is the primary purpose of this campaign. So the secondary purpose is to find out what people are interested in. So in other words, segmentation. So let's plot out the use case for this. How does this all actually work? So let's say a client comes to me and they say, Kenda, I really want to build a sales campaign for my existing list. I want to kind of make a bit of a return on the list that I've got. I want to convert some of the people that are sat on my list and maybe haven't bought in a long time. How do I go about doing that without pissing them off? That is a very common question, and we've got an awesome strategy for that. And so part of the strategy was taken from Frank Kern, and then we've adapted it since then. And so the idea is what we want people to do is we're going to be sending them some nice information. We're not going to sell it them. We're going to send them some nice information and see whether or not they're interested in that information. If they take up that nice information, that is the point in which we will add them into a sales sequence. We're not going to sell something to the entire list because we don't want to burn your list and we don't want to piss people off. So we're going to send them something nice. If they like it, it's going to relate really strongly to a specific product, and then we'll make it happen. So what do you need in order to make this a reality for your business? Well, you're going to need a lead magnet of some sort. So if your product is solving for a specific problem, what you want is something that is going to help get them that little bit closer to the problem. You want it to relate directly to the product that you're selling. You don't want to have a lead magnet that doesn't make sense. It's got to be very closely related to the product that you're selling. It's the stepping stone to getting your product. So you need that lead magnet, and then you need a product, and you need the skills to be able to write some copy for this, and you need a marketing automation system that's going to send it out for you. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's build out the very basic skeleton. So the idea is you've got your existing list. These dudes are sat over here. And with that existing list, you're going to send out maybe 1 or 2 emails. Okay, I know that Ryan Dice recommends that when you're using this kind of strategy, you send 3 different types of emails, totally up to you. But the first email is going to kind of tease them about whatever that lead magnet is. The second email is going to be a little bit more sort of copy-based. It's going to talk all about the different types of content that they're going to receive, exactly how cool it is. So it's much less of a tease and much more kind of straightforward. This is exactly what it is. There might be a list of things. And then if you're going to add a third email, it might be like a last chance email, whatever that is. But this one is a lot more urgent. Okay, so I'm going to put an exclamation mark for urgency. And so the idea is you tease them here, you send them a little bit more information, and then you really press on the urgency that you're not going to offer this again anytime soon, and they need to get now, kind of a deal. And so from those emails, if they take up that offer, if they show they're interested in that offer, we want to know. That's where the segmentation part comes in. So they click on it, they download the offer, whatever, they say, yes, I want to receive this. The first thing you want to do straight away is give it to them. And then once you've given it to them, you want to drip a little bit of content that is about whatever they've asked, but start seeding some sales stuff in there. So we're going to put S for seeding, and effectively you would send a couple more emails. Really depends on the type of product that you've created. But what we want to do is we do a RAB. Okay. So what a RAB is it's points where you're talking directly to some behavioral elements. You're trying to say to people, I want you to recognize that you've got a big problem. So that's what the R stands for. It's recognize. I want you to recognize that you've got a problem. And that lead magnet should help them recognize that they've got a problem. When they consume it, they should know that they've got a problem. Then the second email is all about getting them to agree something. Okay? And so there's two ways that you can approach this. You can either get them to agree that that problem can be solved. You can get them to agree that they may be the roadblock, you know, but it can be solved provided they remove the roadblock. Or you want to get them to agree that, you know, they need a little bit of help, basically. But whatever it is, you want to get them to agree that there is a possible solution. It's up to you how you go about that. It depends on the audience, and it also depends on you know, how you normally talk to people. It depends on how your lead magnet is created. It's got to feel genuine. So you want to get them to agree that it's solvable, basically. And so that's what the A stands for, agree, and then B stands for believe. And the believe bit, I tend to see people get this wrong very, very often when they take this approach. The belief bit is not in as much talking about getting them to believe that you can help them do it. It's more about getting people to believe that they can do it, that they can solve this problem with your help. But the with your help is a footnote, okay? It's not the main thing. People tend to kind of bang on about how awesome they are in this email, and that's not the approach we want to have here. So what we find is that this recognize, agree, and believe is a really, really cool series of emails. It converts really, really well, this concept. And so what we kind of tend to say is that this series up here is a GLR series. So the first email is about what they stand to gain from this lead magnet. The second email is why logically this lead magnet is a good idea. And the third email is kind of, R stands for respect, and GLR really means, you know, it's the gain logic respect. And the respect bit used to be fear. It was a gain logic fear sequence that Ryan Deiss created. We don't like the fear approach. We don't find that it works too well. So we call this respect instead. And you're saying respectfully to them, look, guys, time is running out. I am going to take it down. It's not going to be up there forever. Or I might not be offering it again. It might be a paid thing that you're offering for free, whatever the offer is, but you're putting some urgency in there. And then that's it. That's your GLR sequence up there. And then you've got your RAB down here. And the RAB again is recognize, agree, and believe. So now we've kind of got a little bit of a sequence being built out. We've got the idea that if we get the messaging right, they will purchase. That's what we want them to do. But this is kind of twofold. You see the two levels in here? The first level is all about getting them to take up the lead magnet. The second level is all about getting them to convert from that lead magnet and actually only selling to them once they've taken up that lead magnet, and it's to get the sale. But as with all good things, we need to put the behavior in. So now we need to go and look for all our points of behavior. So obviously there's options for negative behavior here. So when people don't do what we want them to do. And there's also an big option for negative behavior here, because they might kind of go through and they might not purchase. It's not what we want them to do. So you've got a couple of points of, and that's a big point there for negative behavior too. So you've got a couple of big points for negative behavior here. If they don't click through on these, they're obviously not interested. They don't take up anything, they're not interested in that topic, or the lead magnet hasn't hit the things that you want it to hit. And if they don't buy the product at the end, there's something wrong effectively, and it might just not be the right product for them. But whatever it is, it didn't quite fit at that point in time. And so we want to know when that happens. But we also want to know when there is positive behavior. And so if at any point they click through, that is considered positive behavior. Then if they click through again from the sales emails Very wonky little tick. They click through again from the sales emails, then what we want to say is, yeah, that's positive behavior. If they don't purchase and they don't convert, that is also, it's not great, but we want to know that that's happened. That's a positive indication of behavior, that they're interested, that they've clicked through. And then of course, if they buy, that's the ultimate positive, and this here is the ultimate positive too. So let us adapt all of this based on what we've just spoken about. So the first thing you want to do is, let's say that the people don't convert. Well, because this is your existing list, you want to add them into what we call a goodwill campaign. Okay, so a goodwill campaign might just be something like dripping other information over a long period of time. We call this our long-term nurture, so LTN. And then if they engage, you can add them into sales sequences again. That's not a problem. So if there's no conversion at all, then add them into a long-term nurture, which we suggest everybody does. We will be filming another video on that very shortly, don't worry, as to how we build long-term nurtures out. But you want to add them into something that drips content over a long period of time, or a much shorter goodwill campaign that tries to figure out and segment them by their interest. Okay, so the main difference between these two: goodwill campaign is much shorter. It runs over a shorter period of time and tries to get very targeted segmentation out, but you run the risk of annoying people. Whereas with a long-term nurture, it's a drip over a longer period of time, and you're just adding value until the point that they engage past a certain threshold. Now, let's say you've got these positive indications of behavior. So obviously, with these positive indications, if they've clicked through, they're going to go through and they're going to get their delivery email, which is great. But what about these guys here? These little bits of behavior over here. These are also positive indications of behavior because they click through to the sales page, but they don't convert. And now some people say they reckon that's quite negative. I don't think it is negative. It's negative when someone doesn't engage with any of the stuff you send through. So I think it's negative when they don't do anything, but it's positive when they click through because they're showing you that they're more interested in these guys that have done nothing. You need to capture that information. And for those guys, what I suggest doing is a cart abandonment sequence. And the cart abandonment sequence is a series that is the worst envelope I think I've ever created, the worst email envelope I've ever done. All right, so the cart abandonment series is a series of emails that is super targeted to get them to convert. That is the entire goal of the cart abandonment series. It's just to talk to those people who've shown us that little bit higher level of interest than others and get that conversion rate. And you'll see a nice little mop up from that cart abandonment series. It's a nice way to bump up your conversion rates. And that's all good and fine. But here is a massive area of positive behavior that most people don't account for. And at this point in time, when someone has purchased, you definitely want to add them to a delivery campaign. But you might also want to add them into an upsell campaign. If you've got something that will help them achieve their desired result faster, maybe at a premium, whatever that case is, that could be perfect for an upsell. If it's not something that directly relates to this product, don't sell it. Wait until they've consumed that product and then sell it. But if it directly relates and allows them to achieve that thing faster, then you've got a great opportunity for an upsell right then and there. So that's how I would look at this campaign. So if the client came to me and said they want to send a sales campaign to the list, but they don't want to piss them off, the reason I put this little bit up here, which is sending a lead magnet out, is because it's a value add. It's free. They're not paying for it. It's not something that they effectively have to, fork out for. You're not selling anything to them at that point in time. Then I want to give them value throughout this sales sequence. Those people who do engage, those people that don't engage never see the offer. Great, we never piss them off. But those people that do engage, you want to make sure that these emails also have value, but you're also leading them along to the next point in the journey. You're seeding that offer and you're asking for the sale. And that will always make sure that you don't annoy people and you're only talking to the people who are interested in that thing. And it's a great little series to run to your existing list. So thank you for joining me in that flowchart creation. I love flowcharts. And what I normally do is I take this out and I map it all out really nicely and color code it. So I'll have that section a different color, this section a different color, this different, and any goodwill stuff. I'll have it all nicely mapped out. I'll map out all of the delay timers and any tags and that kind of stuff that go in there as well. And that's how I suggest that you at least start the process of mapping out a campaign. And that's also the sort of campaign that I would suggest that you run to your list when you're wanting to sell something without pissing people off. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, little thumbs up on the video would be awesome. And if you've not done so already, please subscribe. Otherwise, pop me a hello in the comments below. Let me know how you're doing and how you're going to utilize this strategy. I love hearing from you guys. If you would like help with this sort of strategy within your own business, pop us an email at ninja@automationninjas.com. We help people put this together in systems like Infusionsoft all the time. But also if you're utilizing another marketing automation platform and you want expertise eyes over it, we have an entire team of expert ninjas who would very happily help you build this all out and sanity check it in terms of creating the flowchart and etc. So you can pop us an email if that's something you would like a bit of a hand with. Otherwise, go forth and be epic. Until next time. Bye now.